The next thing that I would like to do, because I have my introduction, I have my first scene, I have my transitions, and I have my next scene, maybe I would like to put at the very end of the clip, I'll just scroll to the end of it, and I want to include maybe some end credits. Let's just put them over here. And yes, that is going to be the end credits, and that's going to be fine. Of course, if I am going to be using this one, I have to edit each and every piece of text. So again, I'm going to go into the editing section and I'm going to type in the name, the surname, maybe the actor, the character, or whatever that is, right? And then, because I don't want it to go directly from the clip itself into the ending, so again, maybe I'd like to use the transition. So again, fade to black in the very end, done. And let's see what happens. And done. But it usually happens that when I have such a piece of the film that I have the end credits, what's happening is that I still have the audio. Can I do this? Can I work with the audio section separately from the video? Yes. And this is a pretty good idea because what I can just go is I go into the clip that I am going to be using and I'm going to detach the audio. Now that I've detached the audio, what I see is that I am not going to be working on the clip as a whole, but I'm going to be working on the audio section and on the video section separately. If I want to avoid this, I just don't separate the audio and I have everything in tandem. I have everything as a whole, and I'm just going to be using the whole clip, the audio and the video all together. If I want to be a bit more creative, I separate the two. Now, at the end, well, okay, I want the subtitles in the very end to have some sort of a sound, so I'm just going to extend. Okay, I've used up all of the editing, I've used up all of the video and the audio of this. I'm just going to shorten this and done. Let's see what happens. Right, now I look like a pro. Then what I can do, if I want to include something a bit more interesting, and I can go again to the titles, and then with the titles, there might be something else. There might be some sort of a section, some sort of a text, and that is going to be at the same time as the video itself. So I'm going to use one of these, and I'm going to basically include them in the lower section. I'm going to just drag and drop it over here. And again, I can edit the text, but when I go into the text itself, I can expand it so that it shows itself a bit longer in the video. And let's type something in. Los Tarantos Flamenco show in Barcelona. There we go. Now, the second one, I can just delete it because I don't want to use it. And then what's happening is this. Right? So it appears out of nowhere, then it shows itself. I am watching the show, I am watching the clip itself, and I see what the description is. What I can also do is I can take this one and I can move it so that it appears in a different section, right? And as you can see, I can also put it in the very beginning, right? In the first scene. But what is going to happen is that this text, this description is going to be over the transition. Now, as we can see, the transition is going to work itself and the transition is going to be happening, but the text is going to be in place. And here is something that we would need to say that in this case, I am working on different layers of the film. So the top layer basically is going to be the text. The second layer is going to be the film. Of course, again, the audio that I have in the bottom, it is just there because it is separated, right? Perfect. So we've separated the video from the audio, and then in the second piece of the clip, we are going to use the video and the audio all together. Now, of course, if I want to make the video, if I want to make the audio a bit louder or quieter, I can simply use the volume, and it actually also is going to show me how much of it is going to be, well, how louder it is going to be or how quieter is going to be. So in this case, I am using the original 100% of the volume. I'm going to make it quieter. I'm going to make it louder. Maybe in this case, this is completely up to me. I'm going to leave it at 100% because, well, I don't want to strain anybody's ears. But what I can also do with the audio, and this is something really interesting, is that I can introduce an audio fader. I'm just going to grab one of these elements that are in the very end and at the very bottom and at the very beginning of the audio, and I'm going to introduce a fader. I'm just going to move it a bit further up into the clip and a bit further into the clip again. In this case, I can do the same thing. I have these little buttons or spots or the hotspots, however you might call them, and I can just move them into, no, Command Z, I want to go back, and I am going to, let's see, yes, I've grabbed it, and as you can see, I am going to now introduce how long the fader is going to work, and how long the fader is going to be. If I want the full volume to be at the 11th second of the clip, this is where I'm going to be. If I want the full volume to be at the 3rd second of the clip, this is where I want it to be. And of course, I can do it at the very end of this clip, where I can again grab the fader, and then I can introduce the fading of the sound again. Usually it does happen more or less at the beginning of the end credits, so this is where I'm going to put it. And I'm not going to bore you with showing the whole end credits in this case, which is going to be 9 seconds long, but this is what would happen. At this very end, we go into the black fader, and the video basically fades out into the black. Then the end credits appear, but slowly and slowly with the end credits, the sound is going to decrease in volume, and it is going to become quieter and quieter and quieter until the very last second of the clip. One more interesting option that needs to be said about recordings and about controlling the sound is inserting something which is called a keyframe. Now, first of all, as we might have noticed, the sound of this clip, of this final element over here, is a bit too loud and the sound is a bit too harsh. Let's listen to it for a second. Right. So first of all, yes, I do want to control the sound. Now we have the sound layer separated from the image layer of this clip. And as we have discussed so far, what I can basically do is I can increase or decrease the sound, but only in the overall of the whole clip itself. We've also introduced some faders over here, and this is something that we've already discussed, but in the case if I were to introduce some sort of a commentary and I would like the sound of this clip to go back into the background, to somehow not overlap and not to interfere to what I am saying, to what I'm going to be talking about, what I can basically do is I can insert a keyframe. Now, inserting a keyframe in this case of the iMovie, it is really a simple operation because you just hold the Option key and you press a specific element on the sound, and there we go. I have one keyframe, and let's say I want one more keyframe over here. Now, what I can do is I can control the sound, but over this specific moment of the film. Let's see how I can do this. I can see what's happening here. I am decreasing it, but only from the other keyframes. So what I would be doing, I would be maybe moving or introducing another keyframe over here, and then another one over here, and then I can do something as the following. I am going to decrease the sound from this moment, and I'm going to also decrease the sound from this moment. So technically what is going to happen is, up until this moment, the sound is going to be at full volume, then it is going to go down a bit. From this moment, it is going to follow the volume of, how much was that? I do believe this was 3%, or yeah, okay, let's set it to 5% or 6%. And then from this moment on, it is going to gradually go back up to 100%, as it were, beforehand. Let's see how this works. Right, so now basically we don't hear the sound of the movie itself, you only hear my commentary, and up from this moment, it is going to go back up. I don't know if this feature is included in the Windows Movie Maker, though, because I have not really worked with the Windows Movie Maker for a very long time now. But this is one additional feature of the iMovie, which is very, very, very handy if you are introducing a commentary. Okie dokie. And that is pretty much it about the sound. And let us go to the following element, which would be maybe something that we have not talked about, and this is going to be the backgrounds of something that I might want to introduce.